Good morning. My name is Linda Sherwood. I am the Director of Employee Growth for Benchmark Construction, and I'm here today to talk to you about the protocols that we put in place to be able to bring our employees back into the office. First of all, I do want to mention that we created these with a team of our employees, from leadership to human resources to office employees, to make sure we were addressing as many of the CDC guidelines and Pennsylvania Department of Health guidelines as we had to, and also to take into consideration what our workers were worried about. Our goal was to make sure that the protocol made our employees who wanted to return feel safe in that decision and feel safe when they were in the building. The protocols are definitely built around three things: social distancing, hygiene, and the switch to virtual meetings, the no longer being able to have some of our larger meetings that we had. The first responsibility in having a safe work environment definitely rests on the employee. According to the CDC guidelines and also to the Pennsylvania Department of Health, we don't want any employee coming to work if they have a fever. They're allowed to come to work after their fever has been gone for 72 hours, so without taking any type of fever-reducing medication. Also, we're telling employees that if they feel uncomfortable or unsafe, that they should stay home. The red and yellow phases definitely call for people teleworking where feasible, and we want to make sure our employees who feel uncomfortable do not feel pressured to come into work. Probably one of the biggest changes that we have is social distancing. We have signage up all throughout the office reminding people to stay 6 feet apart. And the face masks is another big part of that, making sure that they have face masks on when they're walking through the hallways or if they're in a common area or in a meeting. We've also taken the step of taking a look at all of our conference rooms and reducing the occupancy rates. So we make sure that there's a sign posted outside each conference room that says how many people are allowed. And we've even taken the step to remove the chairs so that we only have the right number of chairs and so people aren't tempted to overcrowd a particular room. In the office, we do have only one way in. So any employee or visitor or anybody that comes into the office must come in through the front door, and they will be greeted by our COVID-19 monitor. And it is that person's responsibility to ask some daily health screening questions. If they answer those questions satisfactorily and have their temperature scanned, as long as their temperature is under 100.4, then they're allowed into the building. The COVID-19 monitor also makes sure they have a face mask with them, and if they don't, we'll provide one for them. The COVID-19 monitor also has the responsibility of walking through the office multiple times per day, 3 to 4 times a day, to clean the common areas, things like handrails and light switches, doorknobs. That person will go through and disinfect for us. Copiers, all the copier buttons and things like that you might not think of. We have her going around and cleaning those things so people can feel like the office is really being paid attention to. We also, amongst each other, remind each other to promote good hygiene. That's a very important part in mitigating the virus. So regularly washing your hands. We have signs posted at all the sinks reminding people to wash their hands. We have hand sanitizer available in the hallways. For our elevator buttons, we make sure we have disinfectants so people using the elevator can feel safe and clean before and after they use the elevator. And of course we have masks required throughout the building. If you're walking to a meeting, if you're in a meeting, we ask you to wear your mask. And I guess lastly, our other concerns are our visitors. We are restricted to visitors for the moment, but any visitor that would need to come in also has to follow the same guidelines that we have set for ourselves, including a temperature scan. And we don't have to have the temperature scan in place, but we're choosing to do that mostly because we want the employees that are in the building to feel safe that everyone else in the building as well does not have a fever. And lastly, we are training all of our new employees on the COVID-19 protocols. That's now part of any new employee's safety training, whether they're in the office or in the field. So that's an addition that we have that I think really will help us in the future for people to understand that we're taking this seriously. Next up is my colleague Steve Conway, and he will talk to you about the protocols that we put in place for our field job site operations.